Hey everyone, welcome to Jarvie Writes. If you enjoy dark fantasy, shadow-filled cities, and stories where the line between hero and monster isn't always clear, welcome home. This channel is where I share the stories set in the world of Veyrith, a city built on whispers, shadows, and buried secret. Within its streets move hunters, cultists, and powers that most people never see. Stories that usually live in the dark. Here, we're bringing those chapters into the light. The first of these stories is The Black Feather. It follows Quincy, a hunter bound to a living shadow, leaving only black feathers behind as a warning to those who would bring darkness into the city. But the cult he hunts is only the beginning. Something deeper is moving beneath the surface of Veyrith, and it has begun to notice him. If you enjoy dark fantasy and want to explore the world of Veyrith as these stories unfold, consider subscribing and following along. Now, let's begin. The Black Feather, Chapter 1. The night was a still pond, breathless, heavy. Even the insects held quiet, as if the dark were listening. Somewhere beyond the tree line, a wolf howled, its cry swallowed by fog rolling low across the fields. The half-moon hung sickly in the sky, casting just enough light to make the world feel unreal. Perfect for Quincy's work. He crouched atop a crumbling stone wall, motionless but for the slow rise and fall of his chest. Each breath measured, trained. Mist clung to his dark hair, and his pale gray eyes swept the camp below. Sharp, patient, predatory. The fog curled around him like a cloak until he seemed less man than shadow. Below, a goblin raiding party huddled around a dying campfire. Their guttural chatter scraped through the stillness like rusted blades. Wiry bodies, mottled green skin, spindly limbs and jagged teeth flashing as they tore at charred meat. Patchwork armor creaked when they shifted, bones rattling from cords around their necks. Quincy counted under his breath.
1,
A goblin gnawed on a blackened bone near the fire.
2, 3,
2 more squatted nearby, arguing in low growls.
4,
The orc stood apart, massive shoulders, great axe resting across one arm. Leader by posture alone.
5,
Another goblin shuffled into the firelight, reaching for scraps. Quincy's eyes narrowed. That should be all. He scanned again, slower now. Not shapes, movement, disruption. The way shadows should fall. The tree line whispered. A sliver of moonlight caught on drawn string.
6,
There. A sniper nested in the canopy, bow already drawn. Quincy stilled completely. One mistake and the sniper would see him. One breath too loud and the orc would rally the pack. His heartbeat slowed until it matched the night's rhythm. He whispered, softer than the fog.
seal.
The words scraped faintly at his throat. A thin black line traced itself across the sniper's neck, curling into a raven feather sigil. The mark fixed like a hunter's claim. The goblin stiffened, its breath hitched. Air refused to move cleanly. Panic flared as it tried to shout and found only a strangled rasp. Not silence, just enough interference. Enough. Quincy loosed. The arrow struck the goblin's eye with a wet snap. The body toppled from its perch without a cry, swallowed by brush and fog. The others laughed, unaware. Quincy moved before the sound faded. He dropped from the wall, boots touching earth without a whisper.
submit.
Darkness spilled from his palm, thick as ink. It didn't create night. It smothered light. Fire dulled, glow vanished. Sight collapsed into murk. The darkness took their vision, not his. To Quincy, the world remained sharp, just stripped of mercy. Goblins shrieked.
Was it? I can't.
His rapier slipped between ribs. The body fell behind him. A bowstring twanged in panic. A goblin fired blind. The arrow hissed through darkness and struck nothing. A scream followed, then another. Blood scented the air. To them, the night had turned predator. Quincy moved through the darkness as if it were clear daylight. To him, nothing was obscured. Edges remained sharp. Targets remained visible. Only his enemies were blind. A brush of cloth, a flash of steel. One goblin collided with him and died before understanding why. Another fled. Quincy didn't chase. He drew, loosed, listened for the fall. The orc roared, furious and blind. Its great axe carved a brutal arc. Quincy stepped back just in time as iron split air where his chest had been. The recoil shuddered up his arms. Good strength, good instincts. The orc swung again, wider, angrier. Quincy slipped inside the strike and drove his rapier beneath its ribs. The roar collapsed into a wet snarl. Darkness thinned. Silence returned. The orc lay near dying embers, blood pooling dark beneath its throat. Bubbles slipped between its tusks as it tried to curse him. Quincy stood over it, breathing a touch heavier.
You led them well. Better than most.
He drove the blade down. The orc jerked once, then stilled. Fog swallowed the camp. Bodies lay scattered, each marked by black feathers. His signature, his warning. Quincy knelt and drew a real feather from his cloak. It shimmered faintly, drinking moonlight like ink on parchment.
Witness this light end, and know the darkness spreads.
He pressed the feather to the orc's brow. Shadowlight flickered. Something answered. Not a soul, not a voice. An echo, the imprint of will, the last trace of presence. It unspooled into the feather like a final breath. Warmth brushed his fingers. The body twitched once, then lay truly empty. Quincy exhaled slowly. The ritual always left a pressure behind his eyes, a weight behind the ribs. The voice slid into his mind like smoke. Never far, never close.
Good, Quincy. More. More feathers. More darkness.
And that's where we'll pause for now. If you'd like to continue the story right away, the ebook for The Black Feather is available now, and you can find the download link in the description below. If you'd rather experience the story here, I'll be continuing the narration on this channel, chapter by chapter. So if you want to follow Quincy's journey through the shadows of Veyrith, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next part. Until then, the story continues in the shadows. I'll see you in the next chapter.